All right. Welcome, everyone. Next to an application consultant, I'm also the product owner of the CGK Field Sales app. And today I want to talk about AI, obviously, and how we used AI to make our field sales app smarter with smarter code to get a smarter business and a smarter future. Now, but before we go into the application, I want to tell you a personal story about AI. And it's my 10,000 euro mistake. Real story, so on the radio station, there is a quiz every morning. It's called The Alarm. And it's a famous person that does... And if you can guess who it is, then you can send text to the radio station. If they pick you, you can live in the air, and you can answer. If it's correct, you win a voucher, a travel voucher of 500 euros. If it's not correct, next day they proceed and they add 500 euros extra. So after a few weeks, the price was already 10,000 euros, and they were giving some hints. And one of the hints was, it was a famous woman, there was a connection with the sea, and a certain date, a Friday in February was important, and there was also a link with the song One-Eyed Bastard from Green Day. And I said, 10,000 euros? But I had no clue. So I asked ChatGPT, hey, give me a list of famous women that have a connection with the sea. And ChatGPT said, okay, pum, 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 pum. And suddenly, I noticed 5 of them were already given as an answer in the days before. And I thought, oh my God, I'm close, right? So then I asked ChatGPT, okay, from this list, is there anyone you can link with a certain date, that certain Friday in February? And ChatGPT said, oh yes, one of them is, or was, used to be a radio host, and a few years ago, on that day in February, it was her last show. I said, yeah, of course, that's it. Perhaps to check, can you link that woman with the song One-Eyed Bastard from Green Day? And ChatGPT said, well, yeah, there is a connection in her private life, there is an anecdote, and since then her friends call her the One-Eyed Bastard. I said, okay, come on, texting, texting, texting. And the next morning, when the quiz was on the radio, they called someone. It wasn't me, unfortunately. But the person who came in the show gave the right answer, and it was another answer than I had in mind. So, did ChatGPT fool me, or did I fool ChatGPT? Yeah? So that's the question. Now, the real answer here is I fooled myself, because when ChatGPT gave me the list of 20 names, I said, starting from there, continue with the rest of the links. And AI said, well, there are patterns to link persons with certain dates, and this might be a possibility. So that's how I fooled myself. All right, having said that, what is AI actually? Well, it's a new type of software that is good in recognizing patterns. And here you see a regular code, and it's created to do every time the same and the same and the same. And you can reuse it just like robots that are building cars. They're doing every time the same, the same, the same. Okay, but what about picking fruit? Yeah, it's also just the same apple, but where is the apple? Yeah, in the tree, obviously, but where exactly? So you need something that recognizes a pattern, that recognizes where is that apple in the tree to be able to grab it. So, and how can we do it? Can we do it with that set of rules here? Yeah, try it. It's very difficult. So we need something new to recognize patterns. And where can we find something like that? Well, it's very easy, because AI is human. Yeah, we can find it in our brains. And every time a neuron is activated, and another neuron is activated as well, they are making a connection. And the more it happens, the stronger the connection becomes. In neurology, they say, fire together is wired together. A very good example, last week I was with my colleague Glenn in Paris. We had lunch, and I had, there was a piece of bread, a typical French baguette. And as soon as I ate it, took me immediately to my childhood when we did holidays in the south of France. So that was when I ate it, this neuron of the smell and the taste was activated, and suddenly all the others were, my remembrance was activated as well. So that's how actually the pattern recognition works. Now that we know how it works, let's try to build one of ourselves. Let's make it simple. This is a dice, picture of dice, and we want to know if the 1 is on top, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when you say a picture, you say a file, JPEG, PNG, and a file, bits and bytes, right? And to start with building this model, let's investigate one particular area of the dice. Let's take the one in the middle, and the green highlighted. And we see a lot of black there. And let's say, okay, black is 1, white is 0. And in this case, we're going to connect the 4 ones. Let's assume that is the green area in the middle. We're going to connect it to the first option. And we're going to say, hey, computer, this is correct. So we want to make this connection stronger, like the 2 neurons. And we're going to say, multiply it by 10. Then we're going to do it the same with another area. Let's say this one. And assuming that the next 4 characters are in this area, we're going to do the same connection, and we're going to multiply it by a negative number, because this is not correct, so we don't want to make here a stronger connection. And this system we will do for every combination with every area of the dice and with every possibility. And when this is ready, we have actually created something that can recognize which number is on top of the dice just by doing this calculation. So that's easy. But it only works if you're using this kind of picture. But what about this one? Or this one? There is perspective, there is color, there is shape, there is a lot of other things. So the system actually is a little bit the same. We still have our file with bits and bytes, but we need to have more connections. We need to go deeper in the learning system, and then we get something like this. And we need to go multiple levels deep, hence deep learning. And then how the calculation exactly works, times 10, times minus 10, we let the computer decide. And when the model is ready, and the first dice is shown to the computer, it will be 100% incorrect. But then the computer will change the values and do the calculation over and over and over again, 10,000 million times, until it creates a model of recognizing patterns. And actually, how it actually works, well, actually nobody knows, so that's why they call it the black box of AI. Now, this black box can lead to some surprises, because what if the black box fails? A few years ago, there was an example. There was a model that was trained to recognize the difference between a wolf and a husky. And it was trained very well. And it was always correct. Wolf, husky, husky, wolf, always perfect, very good. Until suddenly they showed a picture of a wolf, and the system said, it's 100% a husky. What happened? Yeah? You cannot ask AI why, because computer says yes. So they wrote another type of software to investigate pixel by pixel what was the influence of each pixel on the outcome. And eventually it appeared that the main thing what was determining if it was a wolf or a husky was the snow on the background. So this is a typical example of what we call overfitting. The reverse is also true. There can be also underfitting, which is obviously the reverse. Now, it's a funny example here in this case, but less funny when you use it for recognizing skin cancer. Now that we know how pattern recognition works and what we can do with it, yeah, we can solve the world's biggest problems, like, for example, where is Waldo? All right? Okay, enough theory. Let's go to our field sales app and let's see how we used AI and how we cope with that pitfalls when in combination with our field sales app. Our field sales app is already out there for years, so also our code is working very well. And now, if you're writing code, you have Copilot. But what about the code that was written years ago? Well, we thought, let's send it to AI, and let's see if there are ways for improvement. And indeed, at a certain point, AI did a suggestion, and we could improve a certain process that took 1 hour with 50%, so it took only half an hour to run. A next way to use AI is in this. It's a new functionality that we created earlier this year. It's called the Contact Priority Score. And actually, it's a score that says how urgent a sales rep needs to go to a customer. And in this case, it's here this 75-75, which is quite okay. But the whole thing is actually, if a sales rep enters this customer, he can immediately see where he needs to put focus. And in this case, if he doesn't have enough time, then he can just here do work on his visit planning, because here he can win 18 points, so we'll get a much higher score then. And where did we use AI here? Well, to design the whole contact priority score, we used AI to make sure we did not forget any area of the whole field sales app ecosystem. So there is no really AI involved in the functionality, but we used it to create it. So what actually happens? It's just a regular web job that runs daily. Settings are not done with Azure App Settings, but fetched via setting records, which means that customers have full control. And this is to avoid this black box, because although there is no AI involved in the outcome, it feels, the score feels a bit like a magic number, and we want to have it explained. So that's why our customers can play with different weightings to tailor the score for their needs. But now let's really use AI, right? A sales rep walks into a bar, but not for drinking this time, but for doing an assortment check. And the task he needs to do is checking on the menu which beers are available and at which price. But when doing that job, he cannot talk to the manager, and that's his main job. He needs to create a relationship. So in this case, we have what we call the Assortment Check, and we added some AI to it to make it faster. And just let's have a live demo, and let's see how it works. So, all right, here we have our application, and I'm opening an appointment. Okay, so here you see the list of a lot of beers that might be available in a bar. I don't want to go to the menu manually, so I'm clicking AI Assistance. Normally now I would take a picture from the menu, but now I'm going to just select one from the gallery, and this is a nice one with a lot of icons and logos on it. Not going to save it. All right, now let's see what happens. Hopefully there are no Wi-Fi problems. So, and here we have the results, right? So every beer that was found on the map is added as present, including the price here that was found. And what we also do is we add the extra Copilot icon, because we want to explain what happened. We want to explain to the sales rep, this is where AI helped you. And if you're not sure, you can check it, because in the gray area, it's not very visible here on the screen, but it is readable here. You can see what input we used from the menu to make this connection. So that's also our way to avoid that black box that that we are winning confidence here. So Resco sends a picture to the Azure function. This function sends it to the Azure AI Vision to recognize what is on the menu. That output is checked and sent to Azure OpenAI for matching, because a name of a beer can be written in very different ways. And the result that comes back is just sent back to Resco, and we are just adding the icon and mark it as present and putting in the price. Right? So, but we didn't stop there. What if a sales rep walks into a store, right? And here again, the sales rep needs to check if a product is available, how many facings there are, on which layer of the shelf the product is available, and so on. So, and while he is doing that task, he cannot talk to the shop owner. He cannot build this relationship. So also here, we have added an AI assistance. So again, let's see how it works. I already opened the appointment, and here I have the list of all the products. In this case, innocent smoothies and juices. And I'm going to do exactly the same. So AI assistance. Normally now, I would take a picture from the shelf in the store. So let's take this one. And if a shelf is bigger and I need more pictures, no problem. I can add multiple pictures. Let's take 3 of them. All right, done. Not going to save it, and let's upload it. And if we're sending multiple pictures, there is this functionality stitching that can paste pictures next to each other so we don't have overlap. And let's see what happens here. Here we have the Copilot icon on the right, so every time we find the Copilot icon, then you know as a sales rep, this is filled in according to the AI. And here we see the facings, so how many bottles are next to each other from each product is filled in, and on which shelf it is, so which layer. And you see some red data. Well, most of it, there are contracts with the stores that our product needs to be 2 facings wide on layer number 2 and so on. If it's not equal to what it is in the contract, then we mark it in red. So let's go back to the presentation. All right, so technically what happens? So Resco sends a picture to the Azure function. This sends it together with some tags to the Azure OpenAI. And on the Azure OpenAI, we have this CGK-enriched AI layer. So the Azure OpenAI is a model that is trained really for retail purposes. So it recognizes very well what is a retail shelf, where is a layer, where is a product, where is no product, but it does not recognize the real brands and so on. So that's why we added this extra layer on top to have this extra, should I say, intelligence to make sure that the right products are recognized. So, and when we get the data back, we just fill it in and marking it with a Copilot icon. So, the future will definitely bring us AI, that's for sure. And revolution has begun and will never stop. New possibilities are coming exponentially. Problems will be solved, but humans will not be replaced. Only the annoying tasks for humans will be eliminated.
Make sure you use AI as effectively as possible. That way you have an advantage over those who don't.
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Having said that, you can jump to your conclusion.
All right.
Ahojte všetci. Ak ste zaspali, je čas sa zobudiť, pretože on sa chystá prejsť k svojmu záveru.
Okay. Thanks.
Hola a todos. Si te quedaste dormido, es hora de despertar, porque él va a llegar a su conclusión. Hallo zusammen, falls ihr eingeschlafen seid, ist es jetzt Zeit aufzuwachen, denn er wird gleich zu seinem Fazit kommen.
Ah, finally, my key takeaways. All right. So, AI revolution has begun. It will be bigger than the internet revolution. Make sure you don't miss it. And what can we do? Learn it to use it as best as you can. Think about possible bias, underfitting, overfitting. Remember the wolf and the husky. And keep the black box as minimal as possible. My name is Steven. Thank you for your attention.